Hi everybody, how are you today? Wow, I have some wonderful tips to share with you. As a relationship coach, I hear stories all over, and unfortunately, sometimes those stories start with pointing the finger at somebody else. Well, how much good does that really do us? Not so much. So what I want to share is that great relationships start with you. That's true. And really, that can be super encouraging because that means you have some power. You have some say in what happens in your relationship, in your future, in every way that you want to connect with other people. Now, my specialty, of course, is going towards intimacy. And I believe that the best sex possible actually happens as an overflow of emotional intimacy. And that's where I usually focus, helping women learn how to create emotional intimacy, especially if they are healing from some past hurts. I also walk with couples who want more intimacy in their marriage. So I have some points right here in front of me, and I want to dive into it, and hopefully this will be a really helpful thing for you. First of all, you need to refocus on who you are. That's true. You are doing your part of the relationship. And so this is going to be about some self-awareness because he doesn't know what you're thinking. And why would we expect him to know what we're thinking when we don't even know ourselves? Yeah, that just kind of nullifies everything that we are working towards. So yes, refocus on who you are. What makes you aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your needs? Now, feelings get a bad rap sometimes, but they are absolutely essential to emotional intimacy. You have to feel safe to express yourself. And research actually shows that sex without emotional intimacy, it does not produce longevity in your relationship. There's a lot of other negative things that have to do with that, but I will just leave it right there. Another thought to keep in mind, who determines your value? Is it what everybody else says about you, or is it what you believe about yourself? And as a Christian, it's just wonderful to choose to believe what God says about you. And I know it's a choice every single day. What do I believe? What does God say? But you get to do that. And here's a point. What self-care practices help you most? Have you had that question come up? Now, I believe they are physical things, mental things, spiritual things, emotional things. It includes every part of your life. When you take care of you, then you bring this full person to the relationship. And that is healthy, and you will actually attract that in other people. So it's really important to keep that alive and fresh. Oh, my next question, and sort of this category here, you need to redefine what you want to say. So for building intimacy, you're taking care of yourself, and then now you're inviting another person into that place. So what does healthy assertiveness look like for you? Now, I like to say it's not sassy, it's not bossy, and it's not that other B word. No, assertiveness means I know what I want, I know how to ask for it. Sounds simple, right? We all know it's a little bit more involved, but that is a fabulous starting place because when you can understand what you want, I mean, even give yourself permission to want things in a relationship. If you've had some negative experiences and maybe your wants have been dismissed or belittled, then now you are going to say, hey, but God made me beautiful and whole and chosen as his daughter. And so it's okay. It's okay for me to want things. And it's okay for me to have a safe relationship where I get to ask for that. Here's another question. what role does empathy play in your interaction? Empathy has many levels. And yes, we love it when somebody just knows what we want and need and they just do that for us. But that is a deep level of intimacy. And first, we have to be at that place where we see someone else's perspective that's different than ours and we choose to value it. It's different and it's worth value. So a lot involved with empathy. And another question for you, how comfortable are you feeling vulnerable? Ooh, I know that one's a tough one. And so thankful for Dr. Brene Brown and all of her work and the TED Talks where she's been bringing this information to all of us. And it's very important. But we have to have some healthy boundaries, right? Who do you let influence you? And who do you trust with your innermost feelings? Who can you be safe with or vulnerable with? It's really, really good to know. And it's going to be a small number of people because that's who you bring into your inner circle. And here's my third section. To have a great relationship, you need to rekindle how you connect. And the first question here is, what would it look like if understanding was your goal? Now, we kind of think we just want everybody to agree with us, right? But one of you wouldn't really be necessary if you only had one point of view. So agreement, that's not really the goal, but understanding is. To know what's going on in here, to share it, to invite someone else to understand you, to find out how you tick. And when you want to have that conversation, what are the ideal logistics for your talk? And you know your situation better than anyone else. We don't want to create that scenario where someone just vents and they just dump. And you don't want to be that person. So if you have some really personal things that you want to share, certainly if you're going to be talking about intimacy with your spouse, then find a time that works for both of you. No need to blindside anyone. Now, my last question for you. What is the most important thing that you want him or her to know? Because when these conversations happen, there's the tendency to have a little bit of chasing a rabbit trail. But you want to get back on point to remember what is that main point. If you don't know what that is, then you won't be able to measure the success of your conversation and if you've achieved any ground with growing that closeness and intimacy. So that's really important. What is that one main thing? And maybe don't try to tell 5 to 10 different things. It might be too much. So getting those bite-sized pieces really clear in you, knowing how to ask for that talk, to express it, and then inviting somebody in so they get to be a part of your world and grow that relationship to a wonderful place. Now, these are a little tough, but you cannot conquer what you will not confront. So you have the opportunity to confront kind of these awkward areas of your relationship and then make it more satisfying and more fulfilling and more like God designed for it to be. Thanks so much for joining in. We'll see you next time.